What's up, family? So we need to talk about Hakeem Jeffries, because every time this man opens his mouth, it's like watching a bootleg Obama audition tape. And I'm serious because it's like he's trying so hard to channel that same "yes, we can" energy, but forget to bring the substance, the charisma, and the originality. And let me say this out loud for the people in the back: nobody is listening to this man anymore. The base is checked out. The man gets up to talk, and you already know what he's going to say, whatever the opposite of Trump is, and that's what he's about. No thought, no policy, just anti-Trump for the sake of anti-Trump. And we've seen this movie, and we know how it ends. However, I got some clips I want to share with you guys on people and their input on it, and then I want to have a discussion with you guys and get you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. So, with no further ado, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. It helps that YouTube algorithm. Let's go.
I know I'm not alone in saying that I think Hakeem Jeffries is one of the most annoying Democrats I have ever seen. Every time I hear him talk, it's like he's doing his best Obama impression. If you're like me, whenever he gets up there to talk, you just don't even bother to listen to what he got to say because you already know what it is. I pay close attention to this dude. I watched him. It's like clockwork. Wherever there's a speaking event, his only goal while he's there is just to disagree with whatever Donald Trump is doing. That's it. That's the only reason he's there. And he's there for nothing else. I'm up here to say whatever Donald Trump just did is fucking stupid. And don't ask me why, because I'm just up here to disagree. I'm not here to clarify my disagreement. Just another clear as day puppet for the Democrats, man. They're going to throw him away just like they did Jasmine Crockett. Doesn't he see that? Like, it bothers me that he doesn't clearly see that as soon as they're done with him, just like Democrats love to do, they are going to use you and then throw you in the garbage. They're going to pat him on his head and go, "Good job, Hakeem, good boy. But unfortunately, we no longer have use for you."
They eat themselves.
Well, you know what? Jasmine Crockett, she found out the hard way. They used her for whatever weird agenda they were trying to push, threw her away. And now this guy, he's going to have to learn the hard way too. So, you gotta let him learn. You gotta let him learn. Anyway, God bless America, man.
Like my mom used to say, a soft head make a hard butt. Check out this clip.
So I was online, and people are going nuts about this photo that Hakeem Jeffries posted, who is the highest-ranking Democrat in the House right now. He is standing in front of this bench in Brooklyn, and people are noticing that the wood behind him seems to be warped. And no one really knows what to think about that. And as someone who has lived in New York before, these benches are everywhere. They're like the stock default bench, but the boards on here don't warp. They don't really bend. These are durable benches that are everywhere in the city for a reason. So I want to give Representative Jeffries the benefit of the doubt and say, maybe he was on some weird kind of bench or whatever. So I have to find the bench. Now, the only location that we were given for this photo is that he was somewhere in Brooklyn, but I'm going to assume a couple things. I'm going to assume that he's in Prospect Heights, because that's where his apartment is, and that's part of his congressional district, so it makes sense that he would be there. When we also look at this photo, we have to assume that the photographer is looking north. There's no way that he's waking up at 5 a.m. to do this when the sun is coming in from the east, so the sun has got to be setting in the west, which means that in accordance with Brooklyn's street grid and how it's lined up, we're almost definitely looking north when this photo is being taken in July. And it honestly took me like 4 minutes to find the bench. It's at 911 Pacific Avenue in Brooklyn, and it's an 8-month-old photo that I have, but this bench is not warped. I'm also leaning toward it being photoshopped because if we look at the bricks in the background, you see that they also kind of pick up just a little bit in a way that might follow whatever curvature this is. And there's not a giant tree here or anything that would seem to displace those bricks and make them bend too. So it seems like this is a digitally manipulated photo. The question, though, becomes, what is going on with this man? Because recently, he's just been on an awful press run. This is another photo of his. Look at how many shares. Look at how many comments this has. He says, "I'm protecting healthcare." This is all going on in the background of the big, beautiful bill, this healthcare defunding bill. And he's standing here with a bat in his office. It doesn't really make any sense. And then there's this tweet that the Democrat account put out, which has this kind of like self-congratulatory chest-thumping thing where he was talking for 8 hours and 32 minutes to delay the big, beautiful bill. And obviously it passed. So this is just weird. And the question then becomes, I can understand people photoshopping something. I can understand people being self-conscious. People shouldn't be, self-conscious about that at all. But what is the problem with just taking a candid shot and then not touching it? Why are we doing all this performative stuff? And then you've got Chuck Schumer, his counterpart in the Senate, who is trying to chest thump over the fact that he, through procedural rules, managed to force Republicans to not have one big beautiful bill be in the actual text of the legislation. But this is not an accomplishment. This is just more weird stuff that this is not relevant to people's lives. Then there's another thing on messaging, because Hakeem Jeffries says he's not ready to endorse Zohran Mamdani, who just won the mayoral primary nomination for the Democratic Party as a self-proclaimed socialist, which Hakeem Jeffries is not. And the reason that he said he's not ready to endorse him yet is he doesn't really know Zohran that well, and he says, my and Zohran's districts don't overlap. I have never had a substantive conversation with him. But why haven't you reached out to him? Because this is your congressional district with the mayoral election count imposed over that. He won your district outright, and not by a little, by a lot. In the first round of voting, he's crushing Andrew Cuomo. And it's all this pitter-patter. It's all this nonsense. It's whatever this is or this is. And it just leads me to think, if you have enough time to sit here in an empty park in the evening, you have enough time to invite people. Why aren't there people here? Why aren't you interacting with your constituents? Why are all of your commenters on this post just furious? Because visibility on this is all algorithmically driven. This is Zohran's most recent post comment. It's all positive. You're pissing off the people who follow you. This whatever this is distracting. This needs to stop. We need to be focused right now.
The reality is Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, is supposed to be one of the most powerful Democrats in the country, but instead of leadership, all we get is this man is party approved, focus group tested nonsense. His entire career right now is built on one strategy. Wait for Trump to do something, run to a podium and say that's bad, don't explain why, smile, and collect a paycheck. You're not a leader, bro. You're a mouthpiece. You're not representing your constituents. You're just representing the DNC playbook in a human suit. And oh my goodness, man, with this Photoshop thing, which I find hilarious, as we just seen in this clip, you heard me right. This dude is out here shrinking his hips like he's auditioning for a Kardashian reboot. But I got another TikTok clip I want to show you guys.
Yo, they are talking about Hakeem Jeffries because he photoshopped his picture on Instagram. Take a look. Okay, you can see it right here. The bench is kind of warped up. I'm not even going to talk about him because I'm talking to y'all through a filter right now, and I Photoshop in the whole bit. But I am going to say this, Hakeem Jeffries, if you're going to be photoshopping your pictures, you need to get yourself one of these little cute little New York City influencer girls. They will teach you how to properly edit your pictures because the warp bench, it's a no-go. Look, maybe you packed on some pounds over the summer. I don't know. I don't know why you even feel the need to Photoshop your picture. I didn't really know men did that, but it is what it is. Do your thing. You're going to have to properly do this. But it does beg the question, why are you Photoshopping your picture, Hakeem Jeffries? Are you trying to be a star tender at Sapphire 33? What's going on? Why did you do that? I'm just curious. Nevertheless, they're talking about him, y'all. I'm not going to do it, but you can laugh in the comments.
The reality is, man, look, he posts a photo sitting on a park bench in Brooklyn, except the bench is warped like a wave pool behind him. The wood is curling up like it's trying to escape the frame, and the bricks in the background, they curving too, like gravity stopped working. Why? Just why? Let me ask Hakeem Jeffries, bro. Let me ask you, what self-respecting grown man photoshops a bench? Like, bro, are you running for Congress, or are you trying to get on a riot with influencer girls, right? Are you trying to, like, what are you trying to do? If you're gonna Photoshop your pics, bro, you got to do better than that, bro. You got to do way better than that. You're not fooling nobody. I didn't even know guys, like she said, I didn't know guys really Photoshop their pictures at all. I mean, but look, I mean, it makes sense, right? Everything's look clean at first glance, right? Until you look closely and realize it's fake as hell. And that's what Hakeem Jeffries is. But I have another clip in regards of Jesse Waters going in on him in the same situation. Check it out. 1 second, family. The back.
Well, Republicans were passing the big, beautiful bill.
Ridiculous.
Anything. Look at Hakeem. Well, Republicans were passing the big, beautiful bill and backflipping into lakes. Hakeem's posting up on a park bench trying to look hard with a chain. And look at the bench planks behind him. They're all squiggly. See that? That means he photoshopped himself to look skinny. Hakeem's trying to shrink his hips like a Kardashian. Kamala edited her 4th of July photo too. She cropped Biden right out. So you just see her and Dougie Fresh. Kamala's not having the best Independence Day.
Look, man. Democrats' messaging is straight up trash. And let's talk about this press run that Hakeem Jeffries been on. It's been brutal. He's standing in his office with a bat that you seen in that TikTok clip. Like he's about to pinch a hit. Like he's about to pitch a hit for the Mets baseball team. Then claiming he protecting healthcare right after a bill passed that actually puts requirements so individuals could stop abusing Medicaid, which is funded by taxpayers. So like, bro, you can't sit here and lose the battle that you created, which is the battle of you trying to be an inconvenience to Americans and continue to let fraudulent things happen when it comes to taxpayer dollars constantly being abused like you won the title. That's not how this is going to work, right? So at the end of the day, you got these DNC social media accounts hyping you up like you spoke for 8 hours and 32 minutes to delay a bill, which is the big, beautiful bill, which I think is phenomenal. That's still passed. And at the end of the day, it looked like to me you was just trying to get some cardio in with your 8 hours and 32 minutes of talk. Obviously, you need the cardio. That's why you Photoshop your body. That's not leadership, man. It's not leadership. But anyway, let's go into Hakeem Jeffries a little bit on The View. Let's go Hakeem Jeffries a little bit on The View. I want you guys to see what he had to say in regards to that.
So, Leader Jeffries, you wear many hats, and one of your jobs is to try to win back the House for Democrats. And we were talking about immigration before we went to break. Now, some Democrats, amid the criticisms of ICE right now due to these ICE raids, have started calling for defunding ICE. Do you think that's effective going into the midterms, and do you support those calls?
Well, I definitely think that we need aggressive oversight as it relates to the overly aggressive behavior that we've seen, from ICE, from the Department of Homeland Security. It's not what the American people actually, in my view, voted for. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to go after violent felons, but instead they're going after law-abiding immigrant families. And in fact, in some cases, deporting American citizens and children, some with cancer. America is better than this, and that's the reality. In terms of what House Democrats stand for, we believe that in this country, you work hard and you play by the rules, you should be able to experience the American dream. You should be able to afford to live the good life. And we believe that that's...
And this is what shows me, family, that the Democratic Party is imploding, or the Democratic Party implode in real time. That's what we're watching, y'all. Because, look, the base is fed up. They're tired of these empty speeches, the plastic smiles, and allergic reaction to real solutions. Trump has only been in office for 6 months, right? And he's talking like Trump has been in office for the last 3 to 4 years. And the previous administration was Trump administration. When it wasn't, it was the Biden administration. But it's funny how now he's trying to say that we want working class Americans and middle class Americans to be able to afford. But at the end of the day, where was the affordability when your party was in the office when it came to the Biden administration? And people are fed up, man. And look, even their own people, when it comes to people that were on the Democratic plantation or like stone cold, hardcore Democratic Party affiliates, they're turning on them, right? Because according to an article on the Blaze, White, well-educated Democrats are so frustrated with the party's lack of spine that they're out here saying that lawmakers should get shot, should get shot to prove they're anti-Trump. Like what? You have voters suggesting violence against their own team because they're disgusted with the cowardice and the clownery. Literally. It's not even left versus right anymore. It's just real versus fake. And the fake ones are getting smoked out, right? And we'll get to the democratic socialism in a minute.
That's a good paying job, good health care, good housing.
All right, family. Let me slow it down.
Good education for your children, and a good retirement. And a good retirement, by the way, means keep your hands off of Social Security and Medicare now and at all times. That's the good life.
I also want to ask you, because I could argue you're the most important Democrat in New York right now, and Zoran Mamandi won the Democratic primary, is poised to become the next mayor of New York City. Now, he ran as an avowed socialist. He called for defunding the police in 2020. That would mean the New York Police Department. You have yet to endorse him. Will you be endorsing him, and do you have any concerns about some of his past positions?
Well, he's actually said that he plans to keep the police fully funded. I'm scheduled to meet with him next week. And we'll have a conversation about his vision. He did run a campaign that was actually focused largely on affordability. And that was the right issue to focus on because New York City's too expensive. America right now is too expensive.
Ain't nobody got any money because the money's all dissipated.
It's a very,
Oh, goodness. While she's wealthy sitting up in here with a bird brain, I can't with Whoopi Goldberg. The problem is how you haven't spoke to Saran Mudami, the devout socialist, right? He did run on defunding the police and government ran grocery stores. And even progressive buzzword in the dictionary won Hakeem Jeffries' district. And look, you got humiliated, Hakeem Jeffries, in your own stomping ground. And you mean to tell me that you didn't have a conversation with the guy? He won your district. It tells you how much you even care about the constituents in your district. You don't even care to reach out to the individual who have won your district based on the sentiment of the overall people in the district that voted for this guy, right? So what are you doing? You got time to Photoshop in a park, but not time to speak to a man who flipped your whole district. See, this is what happens when your party, and in this case, the Democratic Party, starts moving left and he's stuck playing 2008 Obama karaoke, right? And now I want to show you guys on the screen in regards of Hakeem Jeffries when he speaks about the endorsement with Saran Mudami.
Now, a quick follow-up. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is attacking Mamdani over reports that he identified himself as African-American and Asian on college application. Mamdani was born in Uganda, his parents from India. What are your thoughts on this issue? Mamdani has checked multiple boxes trying to capture what he calls the fullness of his background. I mean, is this a real issue to you?
I think to me, the issue that we have to deal with in New York City, which our Democratic nominee did talk about extensively during the primary campaign, is affordability. And particularly in many of the neighborhoods that are being overwhelmed by gentrification and wiped out by housing displacement, that whoever's going to be the next mayor of the city of New York really needs to articulate a concrete plan for making sure that working class communities, including working class neighborhoods of color, can still have a place in our great city, the city that both of us love, but we know is changing significantly in terms of the opportunity for working families and middle class folks to be able to continue to call it home.
Crazy. But check out this last clip, family, and then I'm just going to give my thoughts, and I want to get you guys' thoughts down in the comments below.
I was watching The View today, and Hakeem Jeffries is on there. And I understand he's the House Minority Leader and all that, but he's just not the guy. He's not going to take us into the future. He is like watching paint dry. He has no fire in him. He has no fight left in him. He may be young, but he ain't got no fight. He's just not the guy. He's just not the guy.
And there you have it, folks. That's what I mean by people are not rocking with the Democratic Party, right? And this whole democratic socialism stuff that Iran is pushing, because most people don't know what they're co-signing. They hear free this and free that. If you want to gain a vote, give them something free. It seems like when people are desperate, and this is also shows you, and I want to take it a step further. The Democratic Party gives you just enough for you to survive, but not to thrive. So then they offer a pitch to give you something else free, and you quick to co-sign that, but not understanding at what cost and what it jeopardizes, right? Because it all sounds nice until it takes place, but people don't understand. First step, socialism. Second step, communism. Government ownership of businesses, that's communism, baby. And guess who pays for it? The taxpayers, you do. With your taxes, your freedom, and your opportunities. New York City is already falling apart. Now y'all want to put it on socialist steroids? Let that man win and watch how fast the rest of the country turns New York City into a case study and what not to do, right? And we're supposed to believe that Hakeem Jeffries is the guy who's going to lead the Democrats back into the future. Bro couldn't lead a dog to a hydrant. He's up there giving the same cookie cutter answers we just seen on these clips, nodding like a bobblehead and ducking every meaningful issue with no real solutions. Even when he was on The View, it was like watching paint dry, right? You heard her say it. No urgency, no real vision, no solutions. He said, we believe in hard work and playing by the rules. Yeah, that's cool and all, but he's not advocating for those people. He's standing up for people who don't want to work. He's fighting for 1.4 million illegal immigrants on Medicaid and 3.6 million able-bodied adults collecting checks while we doing nothing. That's not justice. That's a scam. And let's not forget, these are the same Democrats that want to keep black and brown kids, since he wants to talk about black people and gentrification, like we just seen in that clip, talking about helping black people in their neighborhoods, right? But he's keeping them trapped in failing public schools. Ask them about school choice. They get quiet because they don't want equality. They want to control all race. I just said black and brown because Hakeem Jeffries spoke to it in a clip. Play it back if you want to. He also had the nerve to talk about protecting Social Security and Medicaid. Bruh, that money has already been pillaged. Social Security heading towards a cliff by 2035, and the Democrats are still handing out benefits to people who haven't paid into the system. And how are you going to protect a system you're actively helping to bankrupt? It just doesn't make sense. So here's the bottom line. Hakeem Jeffries is not the future. He's the final chapter of a dying book. The Democratic Party is cooked. It's eating itself from the inside. They went from hope and change to cope and clout. And the voters are tired of it. They want leaders with vision, not victimhood. They want solutions, not Photoshop jobs. And as far as Hakeem, the DNC is going to pat him on the head and say, good job, buddy. And then they're going to toss him aside like they did Jasmine Crockett. Just watch. They use you until they don't need you. And at the end of the day, he's a pawn who's bought and doesn't really have the best interest of the American people who voted him in, and not even lobbying their best interest, because he's saying the same thing. Have you seen these people actually get on the ground and actually talk to people? Right? Anyways, I said what I said. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Are we watching a rebirth of the left, or its complete collapse? Do you think socialism is the real answer, or is it just a fancy mask for control? Hit the like button if you made it this far. Share this with a friend who's still sipping Kool-Aid. And subscribe if you're tired of the fake filtered political puppets. And at the end of the day, keep God first. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. And as always, family, peace.